this video, I get game-changing producer tips from techno legend UMEK. Let's dive in. Hey, it's Graham Farmer from Data Transmission, and today we have game-changing producer tips from the legend that is UMEK. If you're new to this channel, firstly, hey, how you doing? And secondly, we talk about social media strategy, streaming, Spotify, SoundCloud, Instagram, you name it, we talk about it for artists on here. Also, we have big interviews with big artists, and today is one of those days, and I welcome techno legend UMEK. UMEK has just released a brand new sample pack with Loop Masters, so we're going to talk about sampling, we're going to talk about getting through writer's block, we're going to talk about why he thinks samples are the modern foundation for good production. I'm also going to put a link to his sample pack below, go and check it out. So let's jump in. In the video, we're going to talk about sample packs, we're going to talk about samples, we're going to talk about writer's block, we're going to talk about software plugins, and watch out for the end, stay right to the end, because there's a bonus 5 ways that he gives you to become a better producer. So let's, without further ado, let's jump in. UMEK, over to you. UMEK, welcome to the podcast. How are you, my friend?
Thank you very much. I'm fine doing music. What else can you do in a situations like that?
How has your last 6 months been? How's lockdown been for you?
Except of weekends is pretty much the same as it was before. So yeah, I'm making music all the time anyway. But I was as well focusing on one-to-one courses. So I took some students. It was really interesting to work with guys and some girls. As well, I had a time to finish a sample pack, which actually just was just released today. So yeah, quite a lot of cool things happening, even though hard times. I don't stop. Yeah, I mean, you know what? I'm lucky because my mood doesn't affect me. I don't stop working if I'm in bad mood or stopped working if I'm in a good mood or vice versa. I just go in the studio and forget about things that are happening, and I'm just making music, and I'm lucky that I am this way.
Excellent. Well, that's a lovely way to, that's a lovely mindset of it. I like that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So we're going to go hard into production. I've been given a load of questions from people. So let's see how we do with these. So first question: top 5 software plugins.
Synaptic on mixed drums or on drum mix. I always miss this exchange these two names. So yeah, it's so actually, what is it? Is it exciter, transient, compressor, distortion, everything in one place? It makes your drums super in your face. Then
Number 2.
What's the big compressor? Shadow Hills on Plugin Alliance.
Cool.
That's a cool mastering compressor which I use lately. Then definitely up there is the Fab filter stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I will say Reverb, Saturn. What else is there? Compressor. Everything sounds perfect. So yeah, we already have 5, but let's say these are 3.
Okay.
Lately, actually, I was surprised about Vengeance Avenger synth.
Okay.
And they actually released a really cool sound pack, techno sound pack, where it's a nice starter for this more melodic stuff. One is missing, right? One.
Yeah, 4. Yeah. One more.
Voxeno, is it called Voxeno? The analyzer. That would be a really useful tool for a producer.
Number 2. What are your tips for how to finish more music?
Funny. To finish music fast, you have to be prepared for your sound. So basically, I think a lot of people are losing the creativity side of of them when they're searching for actual sound. So please arrange your folders where you have like top 15 best kicks,
Mm.
hi-hats, snares, stuff like that, and then production will be much easier. And especially when you go in the studio, you're all hyped and you're searching for the kick. You go to a sample page where you're like browsing thousands and thousands of kicks, and you're just losing the focus. Go to that folder which you prepared maybe a week before, 3 months ago, something like that. But obviously refresh it every here and there, and then the workflow is going to be much easier, and you're going to be first of all, you know that those sounds are good, those samples are amazing. So yeah, you're going to be always choosing the right stuff to begin with. So, and then you can focus on creativity stuff, not choosing sounds.
How do you overcome a writer's block?
I don't have a writer's block at all. This is because yeah, I mean, the worst thing is that you can feel sorry for yourself. That's the obviously we can all fall in this bad mood, depression, and obviously some people can't ignore that. But just sit down and create something. If you're not in the mood maybe for making stuff, then arrange your sample banks as I just say. Then you can go and check new plugins to download demos, see what works, what not, so you're super prepared maybe next day when you have that creativity. There obviously I have bad days which I kind of don't do anything good, especially the next day when I bring the project up. It's a disaster, but still I am trying. I'm trying. I'm trying. I'm trying. I'm trying.
Hardware versus software. Is software better?
Um, it depends on the person you ask. Obviously, for me, better. There obviously is a difference between hardware and software, but I used to own more than 40 synthesizers from ARP 2600, Buchla. I actually still have Buchla. I had I don't know, Macbeth synths, which are amazing. Studio electronics, everything. So basically, I sold everything, almost everything. There's just few pieces of equipment still in my studio, and I will sell that as well. So I hope in the near future I won't own any piece of hardware equipment. So I am a living proof that you don't need to buy any hardware machine to make good songs. And why I'm thinking that way, I don't say that hardware is not good. Obviously there are people who are making hits with hardware synths and compressors, and amazing for them, and it is doable. But what the hardware companies manage to do is to persuade a producer that you will make hits only with hardware equipment, and that's the thing that I think it's the biggest win that they made. And as well, plugins are cheap in
Mm.
a lot of countries. You can download them illegally for free. And how the hell you're going to get any kind of respect for that machines which you're going to get free, compared to when you buy a wooden box or a steel box with knobs, with all the stuff that it's inside, and you pay 2,000 euros for that? Obviously you're going to work with that machine more, and you're going to develop some kind of relationship. It is fun. It is fun changing, like, with two hands, two knobs at the same time. It is a different relationship with hardware than with the software. But now, imagining, if you're not if you're not already in a workflow of hardware machines, imagine bringing all these scenes and recording them right, preamps and then EQing and stuff like that. There's so many possible mistakes that you do while you try to synchronize and record the stuff. And for the newcomer, I would say, man, start with the software. It's much more easier.
Makes it more accessible as well, doesn't it? I guess.
I mean, and as well, another thing is when you record 70 channels in a track, who the hell is going to know a difference between hardware signal or recorded audio or the software one? I don't think there are people who actually exist and can hear that difference. Maybe there are, like, if you go to YouTube and see comparison about like a software synth and and hardware, then there are some differences. But in the music, those small details are almost unnoticeable. And let, another one which is actually really cool, like when they say like 808 sounds, 808 has a certain sound. We did actually my friends in the studio did a test of bringing three 808 like hardware, the original ones, and let me tell you, not one sounds the same.
No way.
Yes, yes, it's just how it is. Probably the electricity inside the material, the temperature of the machine, the cables is just changing the sound. So now imagine like what is, we actually have to have first hardware machines that they do sound exactly the same, and then we can compare it if the software version actually sounds the sounds same. Or I so I know I'm talking a lot, but so my verdict is it sounds different. And now the question, what is better? It's a person's decision who's actually making it. Some of us we prefer software. Some of guys prefer hardware.
I guess it depends as where you are in the process of learning as well. I guess if you're right at the beginning, then like you say, a software option is a lot simpler. It's a lot easier. It's more accessible. It's cheaper.
Cheaper. Most, like for the most cases, is cheaper. Like if you want to build a hardware studio, then we are talking about, let's say, I don't know, with acoustics and everything, minimum of 30,000 euros. Yeah, definitely. Like if you want to do, if you need to buy like, if you did, okay, acoustics are good. Sorry, acoustics are for the hardware machines, or digital are the same. But synthesizers are expensive, especially the good ones. You don't want to buy another MOOC 37 that everybody else has it, you know. So I would suggest to go a level higher, and then that equipment is much more expensive. And then the compressors, if you buy a compressors above, I don't know, 500 euros, then I guess it's doing more damage than good to your signal. And as well, like imagine back in the days when we were mixing in a Mackie mixers, those mixing desks are now, when we think they're so low in a level, in a quality of the music, it's like it would be better that we just go digital, you know. So like if you want to buy at least a decent equipment, it's definitely a lot of money. Reader machines, synths, compressors, distortions, delays, reverbs, we're talking thousands and thousands of dollars.
Does a good producer make good quality samples, or do quality samples make a good producer?
Both. It goes both ways. um Okay, let's clear something. The It's with the hardware machines, it's much more. It's heavier to do a better sound.
Mhm.
It's just because we're going directly to the source of that electricity, and electrical stuff, and it's also beautifully rounded and healthy, compared to those samples which were sampled millions of times, and bringing the my I don't know, the taste of 16 bits from the old school days. And it's so much easier to process it because it was already processed. But when you go to the synth machine, or the reader machine, you start from the beginning, and you don't have that richness and that muddiness and dirtiness of the samples, which are coming with years and years of sampling, or like the vinyl sampling, and stuff like that. And but it's a better source from the beginning. But you have to have a lot of knowledge to kind of shape that sound to to modern, which I would say more sampling sound these days.
What are your 5 tips for getting creative with samples?
With samples. So basically, I use samples in most of the cases just for kicks, actually the drums.
Yep.
So I wouldn't use at this stage like melodies which are like already finished.
Mhm.
So that's That's something that I wouldn't do. But being creative, come on, you can reshape any kick there is. You can reshape any hi hat to your needs these days. We have so many cool plugins that you can use and change. And obviously, you can reshape it to your needs of the track. And like, I don't know how to explain. Um, you can do multi layers of hi hats. Obviously, then watch you have to watch out for the for the phasing issues and stuff like that.
Mm.
But yeah, the things are endless. But yet again, be aware what you want to do with the samples. Do you want to experiment and you just want to go crazy bananas, or you just want to have a really cool kick and you have to process it a certain way so it's gonna sound like it should sound.
What are your best bits of production advice for a new producer?
Okay, so I said I kind of um, talked about the preparation. So the next thing is, again, you have to go to YouTube and you can find almost everything about a production. So the best advice is just going to YouTube, check, I don't know, for example, companies that are developing plugins, for example, or the hardware, it doesn't really matter. And there are always guys from the company which are explaining why this plugin is how it is, why it sounds like this, how you can use it and stuff like that. So please don't sit down and you think there is a magic button and a magic sample that it's going to solve everything. I am changing, even though I have these kicks that I love them and they suit to my production. They and sometimes they might sound very similar, but I tune them, I change them, EQing them, distort them, all this stuff. So like imagine this. Like when I started to make music, there was no internet. Like I didn't have many friends, so I could talk about music. Then later on in a club, I kind of met those pioneers of Slovenian electronic music, and they told me how it's actually made.
Mm.
And now people complaining like, oh, I can't do music. Man, if you can't do music these days, then you then I don't know, then you're not for they're not it's not meant for you to be doing music. Then do
Yeah.
something else, because it is super easy. You have courses for the production, for the sound engineering, for management, everything. Literally, you have everything on the palm of your hand. So just do research.
Is it cheating if you sample a track made by someone else?
It depends. What do you mean sampled? If it's cheating, the sample is a kind of a um, is a foundation of electronic music.
Yeah.
You like the early stuff was made by sampled completely, adding some rhythm stuff. So basically, no, it's not. But um, author rights are super strict. Imagine sampling, I don't know, one of my tracks, which actually happened a few times, and they just took like four kick loop and with a bass and a kick and a hi-hats, and then they put their own melody. So I didn't pursue them in say like going into the court because I sample too, but be creative with it. Like obviously you can take my kick out of the I don't know track and use it, or hi hat, or some sound that you like. You can sample it. Just use it in a different way, not just copy pasting. Then I think that's a really bad thing.
Yeah, or the usual one when I talk about sampling on my YouTube channel is sample this video that we're making right now and use that in a track, and then if you do, send it to me and I'll send it to UMEK.
Exactly. Yeah, why not? I mean, like, how the hell you gonna get vocals if there are, well, I mean, vocals, yeah, speeches and stuff like that. It's kind of hard. You have to record it yourself. But maybe sometimes this technical talk can be really cool. And yeah, let's encourage them to sample us and put us in a track.
How important is it to pick the right kick drum sample?
The most important thing in a track. So yeah, okay. So okay, I will go back to my sample pack here because I made the foundation sample pack,
Yep.
and there are these sounds that are the most important, and every single producer in this world struggles first with a kick. So this is where it started. It depends of kind of in what kind of kick you're going to use. If it's going to be more aggressive, then obviously the whole production is going to be more aggressive.
Hmm.
If it's more softer, everything goes in the softer way. If you choose kick in this key, you're going to use those notes. If you care about frequencies, so yes, kick is the most important thing in a production. At least for me, this is where the foundation of the track starts, and this is the beginning. And if it's laid really well, then everything else it's easier.
5 simple ways to become a better producer.
Okay, so we already started. We already talked about preparation
Yep. And YouTube.
and the YouTube.
Research. So preparation, research. We've got 2 already. That's great.
Exactly, preparation, research.
I guess another one from you might be mentorship.
Yeah, you're right. Mentorship in this case is actually, but no, not just me. There are other guys who are doing master classes and mentoring artists. Actually, yeah, that's a good advice. Why not? I think the Corona brought us few cool things. At least that, because brought us a lot of shit.
Yes.
And what you can do right now, you can actually kind of do courses with your favorite producer, which I think when everything goes back to normal, everybody's going to be gone to the gigs, and we're all going to be tired during the week and not be able to do this stuff. So yeah, be super critical about your stuff. What it's common to all the producers as well, me back in the days, it's like when we do a track, we think it's the best track in the world, especially because we spend so much time. And then when somebody doesn't like our track, it's really hard to understand that criticism. So find yourself a friend who will critique your work, but those don't listen to those guys who will say, yeah, your track is amazing, or your track is shit. Trust the guy who's going to write an email that long in a computer. So that means he took time for listening to your track. So there must be some cool advices in there.
That's a good one. And let's find the final one. Come on, you've got one more in you. I can feel it. I can feel it.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Don't compress too much your stuff. Compressing will not change. Over compressing will not change your music for the better. It's gonna sound really tiny and shitty. Watch out on how you apply compression.
What have you got coming for the rest of the year? Are you doing any live streams?
No, I don't do any live streams at all. Let's go back to the real thing.
Yeah.
So what else is there? I did few bootlegs again, so we'll see if I can license that thing. Is actually all the remixes that are titled remixes, like Eve the Router, Calling Kurt, and Quench Dreams. I took actually a wave or even an MP3 of the track, and I made stuff from there. And I did exactly the same thing now with Union Jack, Red Herring. That's
Oh yeah.
it actually turned out really well. It's in my computer for a year, and now it's properly mixed, and we'll see what happens there as well. There's something I don't want to jinx it.
Yeah.
A classic techno track. We'll see what happens there, and then the collaboration with Mark Reef, another EP on 1605, new Desiderati. What else is there? New EP from other guys as well. So there's a lot of things going on.
Do you sign new artists, and if so, what do you look for when you're signing music?
It's super hard these days for a new artist to be signed to 1605. What happened around 2010? My motto was like, I want to sign mostly the artists from like Eastern Europe, at least that they have kind of advantage from others.
Mhm.
And then I was signing more and more artists, and I was always, my motto was, only thing that is matter is music. And I released everything that I loved and played.
Mhm.
But then a lot of unknown artists came to the labels, and there were a lot of people saying, "Okay, everybody can be on 1605. It's not special, this and that, blah 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 blah." And I am so sad that this happened. So the music isn't the most important thing, and And since then, the social media becomes so important. And so these days, I have to check first the music, obviously steer the content, and
Hmm.
then I need to check as well the engagement of the social media. I check the artist mixes, how he or she plays music, if she's a good DJ, all this stuff. And if you have the package, then you have a chance to be signed first on Desiderati, and then if you do good on Desiderati later on, we can talk about EPs and maybe an album later on. So it's really hard, really
Do you
really
look
hard.
for? Are you looking more this year, like how much they're streaming as well, and how many what their streaming numbers are? Have you gone into that this year?
Um, no, because like the artists which are doing really cool streaming numbers, they're already signed to the labels. So there's nothing you can do. So what I am doing is I am lately checking a lot of Vibrate page where you have an amazing data of each artist. You can check how they do, especially because it's on one place. You can check Instagram, Spotify, YouTube, Deezer, Facebook, Beatport lately, and you can clearly see how the artist is actually doing. So for me, for decision making as a label owner as well, this helps a lot, and I am looking for new talents in this way as well. Obviously, combining with the music because the
Mhm.
content is still for me the number one thing. But if there's an artist which has a really cool music and nothing else, the content is gonna be how he's
Mm.
gonna promote tracks, how he's gonna promote himself.
You Vibrate. I got an email about that the other day. Do you own a part of that as well?
Yeah, I'm actually co-founder of Vibrate, and there's
Ah,
so many cool features coming in, like radio play, playlists, stuff like that. So I don't know, you will see everything in one place. So you don't need to go for data to all these channels and see what's going on. It's like actually in one place, and it's really really cool.
wicked. Yeah, I think I'm getting shown round it shortly. So there'll be another video coming on that as well, which would be cool.
Check it out. It's actually a really cool tool.
Yeah, I'll link it on the in all the stuff below and in the show notes for this podcast.
Yeah, please do, please do.
Wicked. Thank you, Umek, for your time. It's been we've jammed it in. So thank you very much. And
Thank you.
if you're watching this on YouTube or you're listening to it on the podcast, I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you, Umek. That's been truly wonderful.
Thanks. Have fun.
See you soon, man.
See you
Bye.
soon. Ciao.
How was that for you? Did you enjoy it? What was the biggest tip for you? What was the biggest takeaway for you? Drop it in the comments below. I'm going to start highlighting your comments in each video going forward. I want to start shouting you out. Those are your comment. Big thank you to all those commented. Big thanks to all those subscribed. Go on, hit the bell if you want more of these videos. We're now going to be hitting YouTube hard again. Going into May, I've got a brand new editor working with me. More help. It's going to be great. We're very excited. Also, if you're not doing it already, go and follow me on Instagram. There's a few of you who are not. I give out tips and advice and motivation every day over there as well. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.